In this discussion, we're going to talk about the second generation Lincoln Mark Zephyr. My bad, not Mark Z, I meant to say MKZ. This car started out as the Lincoln Zephyr, then the following year it became the MKZ. Now this was indeed an attractive luxury sedan. It came nicely equipped and had a well thought out interior, but let's go ahead and dive in. Ford redesigned the Lincoln MKZ for the 2013 model year, and it used the company's CD4 platform. So this CD4 platform was also used by some cars you might be familiar with, like the Mondeo and of course the Ford Fusion. The concept version of this car came out at the 2012 North American International Auto Show. Then the actual production version came out at the 2012 New York Auto Show. Surprisingly, it shared a lot of design cues with the concept. Now, I use the word surprisingly because from concept to production, many styling elements usually gets lost during the transition. This new MKZ was supposed to have been released in November 2012, but this did not happen. The production date was set back to January 2013 after Fusion production was delayed, which was produced at the same assembly plant. Its release date was again pushed back after Ford looked to get rid of any possible quality issues. Some MKZs were even shipped from the Mexican facility all the way to Ford's Flat Rock plant to be reassured and inspected that they were ready to be sent to Lincoln dealerships. So Ford was really taking quality control seriously, but by doing so, they felt it would be profitable in the long run. So these cars finally started to reach dealerships in sufficient quantities by mid-March 2013. So if you wanted an MKZ, you could choose between three powertrains: a 240 horsepower 2-liter 4-banger, a 300 horsepower 3.7-liter V6, or if being economical was your priority, you could get the hybrid system based on the 2-liter engine. This new hybrid, just like the previous generation MKZ hybrid, was available for the same price as the non-hybrid model. Since this car got a substantial redesign for 2013, there were very few changes to the 2014 model other than color choices. For 2015, automatic headlights, rear parking sensors, and a rear view camera became standard. The Black Label trim package was introduced, and it had things like upscale interior materials. There were also luxurious floor mats, premium leather seating with Lincoln logos on the headrests, as well as a leather-wrapped instrument panel. The MKZ did get a facelift for model year 2017, and this new facelift was actually previewed back in November 2015 at the LA Auto Show. This facelift gave the MKZ a redesigned front grille and headlights. It had a new front end treatment similar to what was on the Continental at the time. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of mid-cycle refreshes. I like the pre-refresh better. The 2017 model was okay, but I always thought the original design looked more substantial. Like, if I didn't know anything about cars, let's say I was not a car enthusiast, and I just so happened to see one of these pull up in the parking lot, I would be intrigued by the design and, I would want to know more about this car. Whereas if I saw this one pull up, I'd be like, yeah. So, of course, looks are always subjective, and some of you guys might actually prefer the updated model. Now, along with the refresh, there were some changes with the engine lineup. The 3.7-liter V6 was gone, and there was now a 3-liter twin-turbo V6. This motor was unique to Lincoln, and it cranked out anywhere between 350 to 400 horsepower, depending on the drivetrain. As far as trim levels, there was the Premier, Select, Reserve, and a high-end Black Label. The transmission was no longer activated by a typical center console gear shift. The computer controlled the transmission instead used buttons installed to the left of the infotainment system. It was labeled Park, Reverse, Neutral, Drive, and S. And this setup was just like what was in the Continental at the time. The S button was for the sport mode, and pretty much this just gave the car a different driving dynamic, a different driving personality. So after the mid-cycle refresh, the MKZ did not get any other major updates. The only things it did end up getting were new color choices, and unfortunately a gradual diminishing of the lineup. For 2020, the car's final year on the market, only the base model and reserve trims remained, with either hybrid, turbo, or V6 powertrains. And then that was it for the MKZ in North America. So yeah, this car had a relatively short run. You know, it wasn't as long as the original Continentals or the Town Car. So it went through 2 generations and that was it. Now, they did sell this generation in China, and although the MKZ was discontinued here, it remained on sale in China and even got a whole new generation. The MKZ name was dropped and it returned to the name Zephyr. Now, I thought the design of this car was spot on, of course the pre-refresh version. Out of all Lincoln cars, I think this one pulled off the winged grille the best. I wasn't exactly a fan of the full-size MKS, but to be fair, you know, the MKS came out way before the 2nd generation MKZ. With that being said, the designers had time to refine this design language. I feel as though a redesigned MKS had the potential to be an attractive sedan, but as you're aware, we got the Continental instead. The Zephyr that's sold in China is an attractive midsize sedan, and I think if Ford decided to bring it to the North American market, it could be a worthy contender against the crosstown rival CT5. Alright guys, so that's it for this discussion. Let me know what you think. Did you like the MKZ? Did you like the pre-refresh or the mid-cycle update better? Can't wait to hear your comments. I'll catch you guys on the next one.